In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the pen tool and shapes to create something called stepped value. In the last video, we talked about value scales and we talked about the different parts of a sphere. And our first step on this image is we are going to create our own value scale. We're going to go into our toolbox, find the rectangle tool, and I'm going to draw a small square at the bottom of my page. I'm going to change the fill of my square. You can have any color you want. It's entirely up to you. So use the rainbow to select out your color. And then you need to go all the way down to the bottom left. Not quite in the black area, but just a little bit darker. So you can see here I've selected blue, and this is a very dark navy. When I like my color, I'm going to click OK. And we can see that I have my shape completed. Then I'm going to create a new layer. And I'm going to draw another rectangle. And I'm going to change the fill. I want it to be a little bit lighter, so I'm moving up and to the left in my color picker square. When I like my color, I click OK. I create a new layer, and I create another square, this time a little bit lighter again. I'm going to do that until I have 6 squares. All right, I need 6 squares. So right now I'm creating my 4th. And then my 5th. And then lastly, for my 6th, I want to do something that is almost white. All right, so we can see I've created a value scale with almost white on one end, almost black on the other. And I'm going to use these colors to draw this sphere. So what that will look like, I zoomed in just a little bit so you can see it better. I need to examine my sphere, and I need to identify the lightest and darkest parts of the sphere, and I need to draw those as shapes using the pen tool. So I'm going to grab my pen tool. We can see my fill is already set up with my lightest color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and drag to create a small circle to show that highlight color right there. And I might check around and see if I have any other highlights, but I don't appear to. Well, I might have a slight highlight here, so I'm going to draw that. Like so. All right, then I might find my darkest areas. So I'm going to grab my pen tool. I'm going to open my color picker. And now that I have the value scale down here at the bottom, when my color picker is open, anywhere I click, it will select that color. So I can click on the darkest part of my value scale and it will be selected. So make sure you create a new layer when you do this. And click OK. All right, and I'm looking for my darkest shadows. I can see a really dark shadow here in the core shadow. think I'll draw that in. Like so. So there's one shadow. And I know I've got a really dark shadow under here inside the cast shadow. So I'm going to draw that in. Now, I'm not looking for a perfect shadow here. It's absolutely fine if it looks a little bit messy. All right, so there's my darkest part of the shadow. Next, I'm going to look for the really dark, but not as dark. So I'm going to create a new layer, grab my pen tool, and I'm going to change my fill to be the second darkest color. Now, I can see that I've got a nice dark shadow around here on the shadow edge. So I'm going to click, and I'm going to draw that shape that I see. So now you might notice that I'm covering up my core shadow. But that's okay because I can rearrange my layers. So if I drag my layer down, we can see that my core shadow has now been revealed again. I'm going to keep going, finding my dark but not darkest. Clicking around, dragging out my curves. That. And perhaps in the cast shadow a little bit. Right here. Notice that I'm taking my time. There we go. All right. Now it might be time to move on to my next darkest. So now I'm in like the middle areas. So again, new layer. I'm going to change my fill to one of my middle values. And I'm going to start identifying one of my lighter areas. So I might do something like this. Now this does not need to be perfect. Okay, so that covers it. So I'm going to move it down so that I can see that area. Now I also feel like I have some cast shadow. Oh, that didn't work. So that is an example of me needing to close my shape. Sometimes zooming in will help you close your shape a little bit better. Okay. Just a little bit of a technical difficulty here. Zooming out a little bit will help. This is your reminder that the pen tool does not always cooperate, and sometimes we just need to be a little bit patient. There we go. And close the shape. One more moment. Thanks for bearing with me, audience. And there we go. Now it's closed. Perfect. All right, so new layer, new shape. And I know I wanted to do this darker area of the cast shadow. Click. Not really liking that, so I'm going to undo it and click a little bit closer. Yeah, like that. Okay. Now I need to go even lighter. So new layer, change my fill, and start drawing. So I think drew a point by accident, so I'm going to start up here, click all the way down here. Oh, and it looks like that's the same color. So let's try this again. Change my fill. There we go. Click and drag. Perfect. One shape done. Then do this shape in here. Now this gets a little bit easier because I can simply just click around and just drag it down to the bottom, and all of the other shapes will help to cover it. Like that. Okay, and then I might do one more along this edge here, just like a tiny little sliver. Oh. Okay, so that shape was not properly closed. So I'm going to go ahead and try again and close it for real this time. Still doesn't look properly closed. That. Okay, now I'll try it again. And just another reminder that the pen tool isn't easy, but I believe that you guys are ready for it. All right. Then, last step, new layer, change the fill to the second lightest, and fill in anything else that needs to be filled. So this one's pretty easy because it's just everything that's left in the sphere. All right. And then make sure it's dragged down to the bottom. Okay. Last step would be to do the background. So, background pretty easy. All I'm going to do is create a new layer right above the photo. Grab my paint bucket tool with the lightest color, and just click to fill. And I have a sphere with what's called stepped value. So I want everyone to give this a shot. Just do your best. I'm not expecting it all to be perfect on the first try.